children in a way. They have to let you know what is and isn't okay. But what's so ideal is, especially being a 90s baby, being in 92, like Lil said, like Terrain said, first caller, yo, when we were kids, we could go out and play and talk to people and reach out to our neighbors. Now it's not even safe to be outside. At an early age, I'm going to say probably about 10, somewhere between 10 and 12. 12 is probably where it solidified for me. 12 is the age where I accepted the fact that I could die prematurely, solely for the sheer fact that I'm black. I came to terms with that. I fully accepted it when I was about 16, when in Hawthorne, I had a cop who knew me dating back to the 7th grade, and I was honor student and all that. And he told me, he said, you know, one day you might run into somebody like me, so be careful. He told me this in the 7th grade, and I didn't realize it. I didn't fully realize what all that meant till I got older. And realizing that and seeing the brutality and just honestly, just the injustice that police get away with, it hardens you a little bit. It hardens your heart. I'm going to be honest. I hated cops for a good chunk of my life. Now I can separate and differentiate because I'm older. I'm almost 30. I'm wiser. But in a lot of cases, you got people on those streets, at least in what you're seeing, you can see them almost in the faces. There was like a 7-year-old black girl screaming, "No justice, no peace." Video circulating. You can tell she means that from her heart, 'cause she don't know nothing else. You can see from young black teens out here beating the shit out of these race soldiers and these white supremacists. Like, I think it might have been near Huntington Beach, but white dude was talking shit to a bunch of black people peacefully protesting, and you just saw 4 young bulls hop out the car and put in some work. Knocked out white supremacists and walked off. And there's plenty of times I've seen also where some white supremacists, known white supremacists in their city because they're trolls, recently in Oakdale, jumped a black dude in his car minding his own business. And the police are right there. And I'm seeing young people, a little bit older people at these protests, and everyone's just fed up. And I have to just give a salute to all those people who organized those protests. All those people who are putting their lives at risk. As Ryan said, there's like a roll call. There's like a 2-minute warning almost that I've personally seen from covering protests and talking to people, where people who are either undocumented or at high risk of being caught up in the system, if they potentially get dragged, they are told to leave. There's a community in that. And I'm going to get back to, as far as, sports, I just want to read off some things for you guys. So, Alvin Kamara, teammate. And by the way, segments were going to be a thing tonight, but like we were actually going to do like a whole wrestling show on the history of wrestling and racism in wrestling. But honestly, we had a couple other things planned, but sometimes life happens, and this honestly was the most important thing I could think of. Pete and I, we talked about it, and this just felt like what needed to be done. Because sports is cool, but at the end of the day, we got to get home. I gotta get home from practice, from a game. I think of Remember the Titans a lot. And anyone who ever played football, you think of that movie a lot. Strong Side. You think of that. You remember Gary Bertier and Julius and how Ryan Gosling couldn't play corner to save anyone's goddamn life. So, yeah, let me find this that Alvin Kamara said. Alvin Kamara said two things. I can kneel confidently because I know that with just that small gesture, a much bigger message is being conveyed. And this is Alvin Kamara kneeling to protest police brutality and racial injustice. And then he also said, until you are black in America, you won't truly understand what it is to be black in America. And that's fine. And that's him on dealing with racism every day. You got LeBron speaking out. Shout out to Jamal Adams, because Jake Fromm said something. He said that only rich white people should have access to guns. Now, you know how I feel about Georgia quarterbacks. That's neither here nor there. Especially Jake Fromm. Most impressive career I've ever seen. Like, I like Aaron Murray better. But whatever. So Jamal Adams said, you and Drew aren't really sorry. Save the bullshit ass apologies. The truth just came out, and you two aren't the only ones. Oh
man! Hey!
Adams then said on Twitter, "Damn it, Drew." Pissed a lot of people off. By the way, Jake Fromm was a rookie quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. And also, Richard Sherman said, you know, it's good that white quarterbacks in particular are speaking out. Trevor Lawrence spoke very eloquently on Twitter. Joe Burrow did as well. And, you know, Richard Sherman was like, it's good that the white QBs are speaking out because no one will listen to us like that. Their fan base won't. They'll listen. They have to listen to those players because they're white, because they come from a certain background. So they're forced to listen. And that in itself, I think, was really dope. So, shout out to Richard Sherman. Now, some business to get to. Again, one more time. I'm going to keep saying it. If you want to call in, if you want to talk, the number is 1310-693-4300. For some reason, I feel like there's going to be a rush of calls at like the end of the show. So I want to make sure everybody gets fair time. This podcast is pretty structured, but in terms of, you know, tangents happen. Sometimes, you know, we go a little longer than expected. It happens. But most definitely. So, yeah, man. These NFL players are pissed. LeBron's pissed. It's a lot going on. So, with all that, I just want people to understand when it comes to football and the black-white player relationship, there's a tension, a quiet tension. Because you know who the racists are on your football team. This could be high school. I'm just talking strictly high school. You know who the racist assholes are. it's quiet. And there's a couple people who might shock you. But people usually know. But the one thing you don't do in sports is be that guy that says something racist and pisses off all your black teammates. Because you want to know what happens. Hell Week, pads, everyone's picking you in the Oklahoma drill. And if the coaches don't step in, you're getting blasted about 10 times in a row. Enjoy CTE. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. And see, just to go back to this Drew Brees thing, man. I don't get how somebody could be that stupid and tone deaf. It's kind of crazy. Like, the fact that you're in Louisiana, predominantly black city, and you say something that's dumb. It baffles me. Like, you realize you have to be so stupid. Like, the only person stupider is Clemson's tight end coach, like slash assistant head coach or whatever. Let me pull his name up. Matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it. Put a pin in that. Hello, caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Marcella. I'm calling from San Diego.
Awesome. So, go ahead, give us your take, your spiel on everything that has kind of been happening, everything that you've seen going down in San Diego and abroad.
Okay. Well, actually, I just got back from a protest, and it was really nice to see the organization from the youth. I think it's a really amazing thing that the youth are definitely organizing themselves, and they're definitely leading us into a much brighter future. And that's
kind of cracking a little bit.
Something to be excited about.
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry?
Your phone's kind of cracking a little bit in the background.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, that's better.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like I was saying, I just think I'm very proud of the youth leading us into what is essentially a very bright future. But yeah, San Diego is definitely standing up and showing solidarity with our Black brothers and sisters all across the nation, and I think that it's very important to really consider certain aspects when you're protesting, actually. And San Diego does have a very good way of actually kind of keeping things under control when protesting, and I think it's a really good thing that we tend to have here, that type of unification and solidarity. I do know that LA is very good at strategizing and getting out there real quick and really organizing some very massive and great protests. I do have the great honor of previously being involved with the activism and organization in LA, so I do have to give it up to the brothers up in LA as well. But I'm very proud of everything that's been going around in the nation. I think it's great to see the solidarity, and it's great to see everybody standing up and really willing to put in whatever they can to fight the systematic oppression. But yeah, I'm very proud.
And like you said, you just were out there giving out, food and aid to the protesters.
Yeah, and it's very important if you cannot make it out to the protest. It's extremely important to go ahead and show your support any way you can. I was able to go ahead and get out and grab some snacks and some water bottles yesterday, and as well as grab some supplies to create a first aid kit because you never know.